for the Americas region, right? Nalgadan going with Hunter, but it's not the usual face Hunter. It is Quest Hunter, which I think could be a little bit trickier for the Shaman to deal with. If I had to guess, I would say Shaman should still probably be just about in the lead, but it's far less favored than I would guess it would be against Face Hunter, because the Quest Hunter should be able to deal with most of the early minions until you get to like turn 5 or 6, I would say very easily, with just the incredible amount of removal spells they have in their deck. But from that point on, it becomes a little bit harder to actually start killing stuff every turn. So the real question for Nalgadan is whether or not, after he gets down the inevitable Tavish, he can convert that into a victory. Because unlike the Quest Shaman, once you've completed the quest in Quest Hunter, it's far from guaranteed to get you a win.
That's right. And I'm curious. Quest Hunter, kind of in a... what are you ooming about?
Well, I was just matching your tone when you said, I'm curious. Okay. I was providing Foley.
Okay. Give me more of that Foley injected into my veins. I completely forgot my point. That gosh darn Foley.
What are you curious about, TJ?
Oh yeah. Why there was no Face Hunter played for Americas? Like, what does Quest Hunter line up better against? Because Face Hunter has gotten some fun new tools, whereas Quest Hunter has not, right? Like Doggy Biscuit, for instance, for Face Hunter. Quest Hunter is just exactly the same thing, where some of the other decks have gone up in power level. So arguably, it's weaker than it was before Dead Minds was released. But maybe they had something specific in mind.
Yeah, I think it is slightly better against the likes of Quest Shaman, which is, as it has turned out, a very good reason to be bringing it overall. I do agree it's a little bit strange to not be going for the Face Hunter, because it is probably just a stronger deck overall right now. But honestly, just because to have a little bit of variety, because you need decks that fulfill different roles in your lineups, and they already have Aggro Druid and Shadow Priest, which is two pretty generic aggro decks. They do a lot of what Face Hunter's trying to do anyway, so just spicing things up to have a different tool for a different job is, I think, a very good strategy in a deck where you have so many decks, in this format.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, even if it's slightly weaker, I'm on board with the strat.
Yeah, first quest complete. Hero power can now target minions. Incredible. Just great stuff all around. Another lightning bloom.
Oh, premium.
It really is.
You ideally would like to be unoverloaded going into next turn, because I can very well see it being a Fireheart turn actually next turn, just to start generating some extra value, get some extra overload cards played, for hopefully a turn 7 Bru'kan, which is fairly early for Quest Shaman. So you could go Bloom, Canal Slogger, and then if that unoverloads you, which I think it would, you'd have 1 mana spare, so you could then finish with the Primordial Studies. The problem is that you're obviously then not getting much value from the Slogger, whereas you would rather heal. So I guess alternatively you could just not complete the first stage of Quest on this turn and clear off the board, which is probably more reasonable.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty good turn for a double Wand Maker. Ooh. Ooh, indeed.
I guess the question is, would you rather spend... Is there anything you would rather spend for 2 mana than Wand Maker this turn? To which the answer, I think, is actually no. because the only other minion is Panthara, which you don't want to play, or Thalnos, which again you don't want to play. And so I favor going for this here for Nalgadan, and then you could honestly just send that 2 damage face if you want to, and then see what you need on the following turn with the tracking. But he's going for more of a control plan, I think, here, saving the arcane shot to go on a minion.
Yep. I like that. Or for additional burst later on, but
true.
Getting the Tavish from the get-go, I think is important. All right, so Instructor Fireheart, a lot of potential here with Instructor Fireheart because of the Lightning Blooms. And sees the guidance, but is going to go for Lightning Bloom first because it's more efficient as far as the overloaded mana crystals are concerned.
Oh my god, these are all fantastic.
Yep.
It's just great card after great card. Like, this could theoretically be a charged call play on this turn. I think it's currently summoning 6 after this second Lightning Bloom, which works out fantastically. That's exactly the mana slot that you do want to go on. But instead, you could also just go with another Guidance plus a Novice Zapper. That's going to get you 8 cost minions if you go for it now, plus a 3-2, plus a 3-3.
Imagine if it's Overdraft to complete the turn here.
Oh, imagine. That's Wind Fury, so that's Alakir. Oh my god, what a turn! Oi, oi, oi.
Are some ways to pick this apart, though.
There are.
Because there's easy ways for Nalgadan to get that second quest completion, and then Aim Shot will buff the hero power to deal 4 damage to a minion, so it could go Aim Shot on the 3-3.
Well, I'll just stop you there quickly. It's going to go to 6 because it's already powered up, I think, to 4 from the previous Aim Shot. So we could just take out
you're absolutely right. Yep.
So it's just a full clear, very, very cleanly.
Yeah, this is probably onto the Novice Zapper.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say onto the... Or Aim Shot onto the Fireheart, right? And then everything else can just trade in to finish it off.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever you want.
Sorry,
you're the boss, after all.
Okay, sure, yeah.
This works.
Yeah, it does. It means that you can't play Tavish next turn, which is really annoying. But I guess at least it's a full pass from Saimiao, and then with Bowler Shot off the top, Nalgadan can actually play Bru'kan. That is a very easy play there onto the Wand Maker. It doesn't even die, right, because it deals 1 to the actual minion you target. And then, slam the Tavish, start sending these hero powers face. Let's close out the game, Nalgadan.
Alright. This is as good as he could hope for, honestly, in this position. Bowler Shot ended up being a big pickup, and the race is on. But Timeout has a massive amount of power.
Ooh.
Is that a Hull Breaker?
Hull Breaker? So you take damage equal to the card you drew. So
that's pretty good!
It does nothing, right?
It's a Death Rattle. No, it's a Death Rattle too. It's a Battle Cry and a Death Rattle. So on Death Rattle, it'll draw a spell, and you take damage equal to its cost.
Oh, I completely misread what that card does. Well, that's fantastic then.
Yeah. Unless it's dependent on the Battle Cry. I've never seen it summoned before.
It's not.
I don't think it's dependent on the Battle Cry. Nothing else is dependent on a Battle Cry like that, so.
Yeah. Well, that's great then.
Yeah.
Big taunt? I think, like, you do need to stop this damage coming face, but maybe you can take the risk on... I mean, you don't even have to take the risk on a 50-50. You can summon the Blackwing and then kill off the 1-1, allow that 9 damage to take out the rest. Or even just go Chain Lightning to do the job if you need.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh! That's
Okay.
a good draw.
Yep.
I guess.
Tame Beast, probably?
Yeah.
Maybe Peck.
A rushing 4/4.
Yeah.
Like, you can kill the 9/9 on this turn if you want to, if you pick that. But I don't know if you do. You might just end up taking... You might just end up going Rinlings, right? To go for Freezing Trap instead.
Yeah.
That's a miss, so I think you take an Explosive instead.
Yeah, just to try and get some damage.
Yeah. Didn't pick up what was picked, but... Pack Tactics, okay, trying to get a couple of an extra taunt. Like, Annoyatron is a fantastic minion to copy, but there's a very real chance that Saimiao can just ignore this, is of course the concern. And right now for Saimiao, if this isn't Freezing Trap, he can Wind Fury up to 18, and then Storm Strike to 21, which puts Naugadan obviously just a single point of damage off dying next turn. He doesn't go for it though.
Yeah, just gonna try and officially clean things up here. And Lightning gonna rip off the Divine Shield.
That's smart.
And then we'll just pass the turn.
Yep. Alright, send that face to start off.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
I mean, that's something. So then you, Devouring Storm the Blackwing, and then Aim Shot the Slugger.
Yeah, honestly, you can take the risk on leaving the Blackwing alive, but you have to kill the Slugger, right, just to stop the lifesteal. So you always go Hero Power face, and then you can decide whether you want to go Hero Power the minion after the aimed shot. It's another miss on Freezing Trap. I think it's got to be Explosive now.
Yeah. Okay, starting to rack the damage up here. Barrack Kodobane would be a fantastic draw.
Oh yeah. He's going face. I love it.
Ah, yes.
So this is lethal now for Saimiao. That Explosive Trap does not kill his minion, and he can go Wind Fury plus Storm Strike to end the game. Obviously, he's thinking Freezing Trap, which is why he's not just going for it. But I think as he's starting to look through his cards, he's coming to the conclusion that it's possible he doesn't have mana to go for the Canal Slugger
it's one
first.
Off.
No, it deals 6,
it's 21.
Right? With the Storm Strike. Oh no, he hasn't played Bru'kan yet. Apologies.
He hasn't played it yet.
Sorry. I assumed because he'd gone for quest completion that he'd done it, but you're absolutely right. So we can...
Wait, no, it still is.
It is lethal.
Nothing could stop us. And then Wind Fury. And then
Yes.
Storm Strike. It's exactly 8 mana.
It's exactly
And exactly 13 damage.
Oh, no!
He did it!
No! No! It was lethal. I didn't see it first right away, but you're absolutely right, TJ. It was there. And he didn't heal along the way.
And he's dead.
What was
He's
this
dead.
turn? How did you not play Slugger there at least? Saimiao, no!
Yikes.
That was a disaster of a final turn. Like, not spotting the lethal, yeah, sure. I didn't see it at first either. I was going down some other rabbit hole that wasn't correct at all. But not playing the Slugger, like, surely that had to be the play.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, well, what's the play if you don't see the lethal?
Right. The play was kill your opponent, but if you don't see that,
that was the play.
What's the backup play?
Yeah. Yikes. That is not a good start for Team China, and we see a Quiz Shaman's eliminated. That's a massive deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Absolutely monstrous now. Now getting the win with the Hunter, and of course knocking out the Shaman, the best deck in the format. The Shaman, which has just been dominating every single series, is now down for China, but it's not down for the Americas region. And again, if we look at the wider context here, this is far from over. China can still win this series, but with the way it's looking, with them being very far behind now, if America win both of the series in Constructed, it's then down on the America's mercenary squad to pick up 2 points. Otherwise, they enter Battlegrounds either 1-3 down or 4-0-4 down, at which point they've lost already. And if they enter the Battlegrounds 1-3 down, then they have to win both the Battlegrounds and then a tiebreaker Battlegrounds lobby at the end, which is proving clearly to be incredibly difficult against the monstrous America's Battlegrounds team. So a terrible start for Saimiao, and one of the costliest blunders that we're going to see this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the turns prior to that looked so good, right? The instructor Fireheart turn to be able to swing the board, get the massive charge call out, push the damage, ton of resources in hand, but just got caught up with all those resources right towards the end of that game, and just couldn't think through the turns well enough to find the right plays. And I mean, we keep saying it, right? We've said it time and time again, how much this format seems to be relying on Quest Shaman to get at least a few victories because of how well it matches up against so many of the lineups. So having it be eliminated this early on, with America still having access to their own, is just massive.
It is. And so what have we got now to try and counter the Quest Hunter for China? Obviously, the usual 4 of Warlock, Rogue, Mage, and Demon Hunter banned out. Shaman now lost as the remaining powerhouse deck. Paladin, I would argue, is a pretty good way to go about it. The heal in the late game and the multitude of large minions is something that Hunter will often very much struggle to deal with. Pirate Warrior, I'm going to say, is probably okay. Same kind of deal. They can play lots of minions. They have a little bit of heal in there as well, although they obviously tend more aggressive than the Paladin does. The aggro decks, again, I think I like the look of. I feel like every deck here can effectively counter the Hunter, or at least have a decent matchup with against it. But personally, I'm leaning towards the Paladin or the Warrior as the decks that feel like they have the chunkiest minions that can survive against the removal from the Hunter.
Yeah, the thing about Quest Hunter is that you sort of need to go fast enough to kill them before they reach like that critical mass of Tavish, just plus, straight burn, which can sometimes feel incredibly difficult. But I don't know if they have any other good options besides the Paladin. We're about to find out. Nope, it's going to be Warrior. I think Warrior is probably the best because it's a deck that really doesn't... They still have that longevity with Rakar Complete that keeps damage pushing. So they're not going to get muscled out of the game, and they have an aggressive enough of an opening to be able to try and withstand the removal from Quest Hunter and keep the pressure on, force them to play maybe a little bit more inefficiently.
It's cool to see a demonstration of some of the lesser known Quest decks as well. Like, usually in constructed tournaments we only get Mage, Demon Hunter, Warlock as the main 3, and occasionally a Shaman or a Quest Rogue, I guess. But now we're getting to see Quest Warrior obviously come into its own. Quest Hunter here doing a reasonable job as well. I like it. Getting to see another side of Hearthstone here. As Murphy gets himself a really nice Pirate Curve to start things off. You're very happy with his starting hand. And for now, Gadan, I think... Wow, I was going to say that these one-cost damage minions are kind of redundant enough in the deck. You have so many with Overwhelm, Arcane Shot, and Wound Prey, and of course, Quick Shot, Bowler Shot, Aim Shot, Piercing Shot. Like, there's so many removal spells. I was thinking he'd try and go for the slightly higher value cards in the mid game, like Mancrick I liked the look of. Scorpion I think was maybe a little slow, but I didn't hate it. Or even Barrack Kodobane I would have really liked to see in this starting hand.
Yeah. Though it is all damaging spells in the opening hand for Nalgidon, which is fantastic for quest completion.
But this is the problem that I have with Face Hunter, right? Is you can have a hand like this, which, like you say, it's 5/6 of the way towards completing the entire quest already, which is fantastic. But you're going to splurge your entire hand. You're not going to have much left afterwards by the time you actually get Tavish online. Which, of course, means that then afterwards you are left in a pretty rough spot unless you can find exactly Barrack Kodobane or maybe the Pantharas to refill that.
Yeah, going to go for a pretty interesting play there, utilizing the coin, a single damage bullet shot with Overwhelm. Just to be able to maybe hold on to Overwhelm to be a little bit more efficient damage. I mean, here it works out just against a 3/4. You can Overwhelm plus hero power.
Yes. And to be fair to Nalgidon, who I will absolutely bow down to, is probably a better Quest Hunter player than I have not piloted it all too much myself. It does get the 0 mana the 0 mana hero power online very quickly, which, even if you don't get Tavish online, is just incredible board control. 0 mana deal 2 every turn will lock up most things that Pirate Warrior can do.
Yep. We go Hatchet and then the 1-drop.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
It makes almost literally no difference. I was just running through my head, are there any ways that Warrior can add weapons to their hand as Pirate Warrior right now? I guess by going for it this way, you can't immediately buff the 2/2, which I would argue is probably good, because they're going to hero power it anyway.
Yeah. Kind of just okay with Piercing Shot here. It's expensive, so it doesn't have that great a use. 2/2 is about the best you can go for. You can also fit the hero power since it completes the second portion of the quest. And he's got some value to follow this up.
Okay, good draw, right? Very happy to see that. It gets the cannons fired that little bit closer towards Rakara. And if he gets himself a pirate of cost 3 or less, he can add Rakara to his hand next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Swing first as well, I agree. I want that as buff as possible.
Yep. Nice damage. Yeah, not really any way for Nalgidon to get around denying the card draw from this Anchorman.
I mean, he could dig for either... Oh, sorry, I was going to say Slate. Slate does not do it, obviously, because it doesn't have a spell to go with it. He could dig for exactly second Piercing Shot if he wanted to off the trashing to kill it off in one, but I fully agree that just playing a 2-drop is more important on this turn to be mana efficient.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, right? That's the pirate. That's what you need for Rakara in hand. It's a really nice draw for Murphy. You can play... You can either play the Stormwind Freebooter, like the right pirate, swing and then play the captain if you would rather not buff Rakara, or you can just play them both and then swing if you'd rather buff Rakara. I do think I would rather buff Rakara because this 3/3 pirate is fairly likely to die anyway. But Murphy disagrees. He would rather get the buff on the immediate minion, which is not ridiculous either. And the upshot is, of course, Rakara in hand, ready to start firing them cannons. Release the Juggernaut as well.
We're just going to have quest completion at a similar timeline here.
True.
Tavish going to come down this turn. That is a buffed hero power as well. That's going to be able to take out the freebooter. And then full board control. Obviously, not too much in the form of resources to work with here for Nalgidon, but Wandmaker, tracking can both find some big things. Tracking could hit like Barracuda Bane, for instance. Even like Mana Feeder Panthara at this point. Put a body on board. And, you know, maybe block some of those Juggernaut shots as well as cycling through the deck.
Pretty nice play on this turn, right? With LGD Murphy being able to go for Broom just for a 3/1 rush. Attack into the Tavish, play the Rakara, or swing first, I guess, if you want to buff the Rakara. Then play the Rakara, then play the Shiver Their Timber at the end. This ordering has been like weirdly precise for Murphy for what is usually a very straightforward deck, and I think he's actually handled it very, very well in terms of when to swing the weapon. I had a slight disagreement on the captain turn where he swung and then played the captain, but aside from that, and even that was arguable, and aside from that, it's been very much spot on. But now for Nalgidon, in terms of the quest versus quest, while Murphy still has the 7/7 online, for Nalgidon, he can push so much damage now. This is incredibly threatening.
Yes, it is. Another aim shot.
Oh!
Quick shot.
Look at all of this.
This is a lot of damage staring at the other side. Is there ever a world where this aim shot goes into Rakara instead of towards the facial region?
No.
Okay. Oh, glad we got that out of the way.
You idiot.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you can set up. How much damage is it? 15.
Wait. Mr. Smite Gorehowl is lethal.
Okay, let's go, Murphy. Oh, not bad.
Wait,
And
Mr. Smite off the top is lethal.
What about now?
If both these hits go face, it is lethal. No, never mind. That's not. I just assumed that was a Mr. Smite and it had charge.
Or you can deal 7, 12, 14, 16. You can actually deal 18 on this turn if both the cannons go face with the Fogsail freebooter as well, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, how much damage is it for Nalgidon? He's got 9, 14, and then because he will have mana, I'm pretty sure it's always lethal with the Wandmaker as well, right? Assuming there's no hero power, that is for Murphy, but it looks like he might be gearing up for the hero power now at the end. I think it's 16 damage. I think it's 1 off for Nalgidon. If he gets himself... Whoa! Maybe that changes things? I don't think so. I think it's too expensive, right? There's no good target.
Yeah.
So he needs Wound Prey or Arcane Shot off of this Wandmaker, I think, to get lethal.
Yeah. What about Devouring Swarm? Like, no, it doesn't actually play it in the deck. Like, tracking Devouring Swarm, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The one infestation is not enough. Can he clean up enough of the board? and still try and threaten lethal the following turn? Is that ever a thing?
It would have to be such a small weapon on the other side, and as we can see, like even then, I think Murphy just always has lethal with the Cannoneer and the Foxtail Freebooter, and even the Sword Eater as well. So even if it is like a one-attack weapon, it still always gets there. I think now Gadan in the end is one off.
That's brutal. Man, that seemed so good. Got the Tavish online first before the Rikara was able to hit the board.
Yeah.
Was able to pile up so much damage into the hand, but Pirate Warrior, once that quest is complete, can just sneak so much damage out of nowhere. Maybe, Derek, you know, you're supposed to kill the Rikara and then try and play a little bit more of a control game, but I think that that's just yeah. Maybe I'm just dumb.
It's possible. I mean, how many Hunter 1-cost cards are there right now? Because 2 of them, I think, just give you lethal, right? And but that has to be higher odds than actually killing the minions, right? Like, you have Adorable Infestation, Arcane Shot, Carrion Studies, Demon Companion, Leatherworking Kit, Lock and Load, Overwhelm, Resizing Pouch, and Tracking. So 2 of them are instantly lethal in Arcane Shot and Wound Prey as well, sorry, is the other one. Demon Companion is sometimes lethal. Tracking is sometimes lethal. Resizing Pouch is sometimes lethal. Like, there are a few cards there that gave Nalgadan lethal, and obviously he had no agency in the matter. It was just luck of the draw of what came off the One Maker. But his game plan got him really, really close to lethal, in addition, obviously, to whatever came off the top. Like, he could have just drawn another quick shot and had lethal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the game plan seemed to work out, just couldn't piece it together at the end there. And it's like the armor up just made the difference. But now with... I still think that Americas should have the advantage going forward. They still have the Quest Shaman to be able to use. Is there something else, though, that they want to cue into the Warrior first before the Quest Shaman makes its way into the field?
Let's take a look. Historically, the players have seemed relatively comfortable putting Paladin into Pirate Warrior. That's been like... not a hard counter, I think, but when players are forced to go with one of their remaining decks, be it aggro or Paladin, generally they've gone with Paladin as the counter to Warrior, and it has looked pretty good, I will admit. Generally, Rikara can't outscale Librams of Hope, Varian, Lady Liadrin, Devout Pupil. The Healing and the Divine Shield, in addition to the Taunt, are just too much from the Paladin, so I think that would be a very reasonable answer for Americas. However, I think just jamming the Shaman right away is probably a better choice, if I'm honest. Like, again, there are just no real counters available to the Chinese players. So if the Shaman is able to win, Monsanto could just sweep from there.
Yeah. Well, this is our given information, and it is going to be the Paladin.
Okay.
So Nayara's going to come in for the Americas and try and get a win against this Warrior. Make it just that a little bit easier for the Shaman to be able to take down the series.
And I know that over in the Battlegrounds casts, at the end of the day, Sottle, or at the end of the last series, sorry, Sottle was saying that if nothing else, he wants a win for Sun Glitters because she has had a really, really rough time of it, comparative to what we expected in terms of her very high skill level. Here in Constructed, honestly, TJ, I'm feeling the same thing. I want a game that Nayara has some agency in, because aside from that one missed lethal that we saw from the start from her, which was an obvious mistake, she just hasn't really been able to play Hearthstone. She's just been run over at the start because her opponents have just had better openers than her. And it breaks my heart to see, because I always love seeing Nayara playing in the Masters Tours, repping us casters and showing that, well, alongside Gia, some of us are okay. Yeah, maybe not so much outside of Nayara and Gia, but
just
you know,
those two.
we'll put our pride in their hands at least.
Yeah, we'll take credit for their success.
Yeah. After
It's a group effort.
after I snubbed Gia and didn't practice mercenaries with her and practice with Casper instead. I'll take credit for her success.
Okay, Bannerman. But I think that Underlight Angling Rod is probably the play this turn just to get the South Sea Captain off the board.
Agreed, yep.
You can still go coin Two-Sacre next turn into double Libram, which is pretty insane. Oh!
That's spicy. Oh. Does it ever happen, TJ? Is it ever Rakara for dinner?
Yes.
Thank goodness. I thought the answer might be no.
You were wrong.
Bit of a rubbish draw for Murphy. The weapon is definitely not what he wanted. It's the risk you run in a one-weapon deck that obviously has one weapon cheater effect. Like, generally throughout Hearthstone's history, when you have cards that draw specific types of cards, you either have one card draw and two of the things you're trying to draw, or two card draws and three of the things you're trying to draw is generally the ratio that works out. But Pirate Warrior players taking a risk because, to be fair, Whetstone Hatchet, if you draw it on anything other than the quest activation, is just an absolutely horrendous Hearthstone card in this deck.
Yeah, it really is.
Ooh. Is that Flurgle? Or the Oracle? Whatever it's called?
Fungalmancer Flurgle? Nope, that's Battlegrounds. Flurgalmancer?
Find out. Firemancer Flurgle.
Firemancer, okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Flurgalmancer Flurgle?
I specialize in Flurgle magic mostly. It's kind of niche, pretty hard. You probably haven't heard of it. Yeah, I made it up. It's kind of cool.
I like my Flurgles French pressed.
Yeah, I'll get that Flurgle medium rare.
Actually, plant-based Flurgle, please.
Do you have McGurgle free Flurgle? Well, it looks like Murphy's been stopped in his tracks for the moment, doesn't it? With a real nice big Libram, Aldor Truthseeker with double Libram of Wisdom on it. Nayara, well, I suppose I have got my wish here for Nayara, which is that she's actually got some decisions here and is able to flex her skills in this game. Because all of a sudden, the Flurgle, which was looking like a meme beforehand, with a second Underlight Angling Rod, could actually get some pretty relevant AoE as the game progresses, with the text, again, if you're not familiar, being whenever you play a different Murloc, you deal 1 damage to all other minions, which is pretty effective against Pirate Warrior.
Yep. It's going to play it now as a 3/4, though.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like an animated broomstick to take out this normal Anchorman just to push the 6 damage to base, but then the 2 minions on board would be 2 health, which is not necessarily what you want to be. I imagine this is going to be split here between the Bannerman and the Flurgle. I guess not. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. This keeps it out of range of Shiver. Doesn't keep it out of range of Mr. Smite, though.
It certainly does not.
Rush can't be charge, but charge can certainly be rush. I don't think it's the right play, though. use every excuse I can to talk about Mr. Smite.
You've got him on the brain. You need to let it go, TJ. I mean, you could just fire a hell of a lot of cannons. Mister. He's actually a doctor. But he just doesn't like to fight. He goes by his Christian name.
Hello, Mr. Smite. That's Dr. Mr. Smite.
I didn't go to medical school for 2 months to be called Mr. Smite.
The mutinous Rikara dream is alive and well.
It's very alive, and that would be the most fitting of redemptions for Nayara in what would be a final series of Constructed for the tournament. Munching on Rikara. Oh. That's not bad.
That's actually quite good. Utilize that to push the 6 damage to face.
True, 1 from the AoE.
Could actually technically keep the Elfin alive by using the buffed broomstick.
I actually like this play a lot more from Nayara of sacrificing off the Flurgle. I think I was tunnel visioning on keeping it alive for AoE when she's correctly identified that that's not going to make too much difference at this point. The game has gone past the point where a couple points of AoE will win the game. And so just by protecting a 4-4 here rather than leaving just like a 2-2 on the a 5-2 on the board is much more impactful. And I respect the play leading into the powerhouse turns for Nayara. She's obviously got the mutinous as the spicy play. But even if that's not working out for her, going for Libram of Hope straight up on the following turn is still really, really strong and something that Pirate Warrior struggles to keep up with.
Yeah. How far are we from Rikara? Is it 2 pirates?
I believe 2.
Yeah. Murphy's just got one thing on his mind.
Oh, come on, Nayara. You know what we want. Give the people what they want.
If it doesn't hit Rikara and hits something else, there is... I guess she's not under threat of dying. You have to do it. You got Quest Shaman. Like, come on.
Come on.
Quest Shaman is a get out of mutinous jail free card. Obviously, Libra of Hope is incredibly powerful in this position. But, alright, 1 and 4.
Come on, Nayara. Oh, that's the worst target. There were 2 fantastic ones. Honestly, there were 3 fantastic targets. With Barrow of Smite and Rikara all incredibly strong.
Ooh.
These, however, suck. Oh, is that lethal?
Oh, that's lethal!
No
it's
way!
lethal!
Oh, Nayara, no!
What?
That's so unlucky. Oh. Honestly, I think she made the right play. Like, I'm sure she'll be kicking herself for that one, but I think it was just right. A quarter of the time, you just win the game. Or, actually, as it turns out, not, because you would have died to Mr. Smite, plus exactly the extra pirate, the Bloodsail Raider on the following turn. But Mr. Smite was fantastic. Yeah. It's so unlikely that she died the next turn anyway, that a 25% chance to usually just win the game, that's gotta be worth it. But it is the one thing that lost her the game. She'll be thinking, if I just played that bloomin' Libram of Hope, I would have survived. That's a horrible way to lose a game of Hearthstone.
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at it, but even if the Ricard was hit, it would have been lethal damage. Was it lethal from hand with just the I can't remember the name, the 2/2 that deals 2 damage with the weapon?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It would have been 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it was. It was exactly 15 either way. Yeah. Mr. Smite 6, the 2/2 would have dealt 4, so that's 10. The Cargo Guard on board, which is 2, and then the War Axe, which would have been 3, so that's 15.
Oh, maybe you're right.
So, no matter, essentially, no matter, it would have to eaten the Mr. Smite only. Would have been the only card that would have saved her if Mutinous was the play. Obviously, she can't know that.
Yeah.
Don't know that Mr. Smite's going to be there. It's not like Murphy missed a bunch of curve plays.
Yeah. It's such a tough play to read because again, my instincts are still telling me that it was the correct play to make. Because like if you don't go for it and you play Libram of Hope, right? You're never dying that turn. It's a safe play. They always play Rikara. You're not going to get a value trade most likely because they're just going to send a bunch of stuff into your Libram of Hope, or the cannons will finish it off next turn. And the rest of Nayara's hand was actually not that good, right? Like, Mutinous can eat a pirate from their hand, but it's probably quite small. She didn't have another Libram of Hope, she didn't have Variant, she didn't have Devout Pupil, she didn't have Lady Liadrin. Like, her hand quality was really not that high in terms of trying to see her through the game. Maybe you were just supposed to rely on the average quality of your deck to see you through and slam the Libram of Hope. I don't know. But if nothing else, she made the cool play, and she's a legend for that.
Yep. And like I said, Quest Shaman is the get out of Mutinous jail free card. Monsanto coming in once again at a deficit, trying to get America's that win. Favorable matchups across the board, and not even the Quest Shaman mirror to fall back on for China.
Indeed, it's just it's up to Monsanto again, doing what he's done the entire tournament, which is just sweep with the powerhouse decks. Nayara and Naugadan clearly not trying to make him feel like a third wheel in this trio of Hearthstone players, just giving him the best deck no matter what the ban is and saying, go on, win with this and we'll be proud of you. And,
yeah.
Monsanto has done that, undeniably.
Yep. Decent opening for Monsanto as well.
Oh yeah.
Murphy's is meh. There's
It's
some
okay.
pirates, but the whole deck is pirates, and those are a few of the more underwhelming pirates.
I guess. I mean, it's not Harbor Scamp, is it? That's the real standout pirate at the start.
目标已经标记出来了。
Yep.
Okay. Not bad. Pas mal. Just paying respects to Europe. Rest in peace. Or I guess Canada. I'm celebrating Monsanto.
There you go. Yeah, I like this. Easy coins for Bertrand can roll into just the one maker next turn.
Yuck.
I mean, it's large, but it just dies to the freebooter.
It's large, but it's not in charge.
Nope. Not at all. Ooh.
Interesting. Probably just one maker, but you can think about it a little more now, because if you go Bloom, like the other play I'm considering here is Bloom, Note Taker, Guidance, but that then floats a mana at the end of it because you would unlock a crystal. I guess you could go Bloom, Note Taker, Guidance, and then end with Wand Maker. Okay, if he's doing that, I like it. Oh,
不是你选择魔杖，傻蛋。
Just gives him full mana crystals going into the next turn. So I tend to, in faster matchups, I tend to like the note taker plays like that.
okay. Yeah, I didn't see that there was a line to end with the Wand Maker, and Now that I see that, I see the light.
Okay, good. Not really a good target for the weapon when drawn this turn, right?
Yeah, I think I'm just ending with Shiver their Timbers, honestly, here. Like, there's not that many targets that it's good for, right, in this matchup. You could try and save it until the charged calls start coming down. But I think I'd rather just seize tempo right now.
Yeah.
Like, Shiver their Timbers and go face, I think is fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, wealth of options for Monsanto. Gonna start things off with the primordial studies.
This is just so good. Like, he's got so many overload cards and so much value generation and so much tempo. It's every pillar that you need to support in this particular deck, and he's just got them all.
Yeah, this is going to be second quest completion plus a full board clear and the 3 summon. Oh my goodness!
He's not human. He's just not human. That's perfect. It's absolutely
perfect pickup. Yep, exactly 1 mana crystal next turn to be able to use the overdraft.
It's cleaner than his hat. Which
is
isn't saying much.
Exceptionally clean, shall we say.
Sure. I don't know, do you clean hats? I'm not a hat wearer.
You can. It's not like against the law.
Maybe not in America. Over in Canada, TJ, I think you'll find.
Yeah, those hat lobbyists. They really don't want you to clean your hat. They want you to go out and buy a new one.
I'm telling you, it's big hat. They've got the country in their pocket.
Yeah. Murphy's just sitting back like, this is my life now.
Yeah, just trying to figure out what the best way to clear is, because I guess you can give the plus attack to the broom and then it swings in. Okay, I was going to say the broom doesn't do too much itself, but after you buff the broom and can therefore take out two health minions, it's actually quite clean. A wealth of options, obviously, here for Monsanto. He can even go Bloom into the Perpetual Flame. And then can he play Bru'kan on this turn? No, okay, not quite. But he can get it in hand for next turn. Overload for 1 here is absolutely perfect. And then it's just a turn 6 Bru'kan. That is so fast for Quest Shaman. And what has LGD Murphy got? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And not even a turn 6 like, oh, completed Bru'kan. Turn 5 completed Bru'kan. Turn 6 played Bru'kan.
Disgusting.
Bruce-gusting.
Famously what Bru'kan says whenever he lets one rip.
Well. Okay.
It can't even draw. There's a taunt in the way of the rush.
Yeah, I know.
He even got the right totem.
He's that good.
Oh, that does not feel good. And while there's not lethal quite yet, still not lethal for Monsanto, honestly, you can just go for a devolving here, right? To deny the death rattle and then send everything else face.
Mm-hmm.
It's just guaranteed either a 1/1 or a dormant, which is both fine.
Yeah, can't even think of a single draw that can pull Murphy back from this one.
I think I can think of 10 draws that will pull him back from this one. He could have his whole deck and he's still losing. Right? This one's just over.
Yeah. Gonna see what's in there, though. Yep, that's in your deck for sure.
It ain't winning him the game, though. He's holding out to the absolute bitter end. Again, it's not just him that this match is for. It's for all the rest of the Chinese players. And, of course, the pride of the nation as well. A Chinese Invitational tournament. Imagine what it would mean to the community and to all the fans to take it down when all the rest of the world is watching. But for now, Monsanto getting a win, bringing it up to 2 games apiece. A single win with the best deck in the format on Quest Shaman would ensure a 2-0 victory for the Americas in Constructed. And this is honestly the area in which they have been lacking in the previous stages of the tournament, in the round robin. They still managed to finish in the top 3 with their incredible Battlegrounds performance to bolster it. And if Americas start turning around on their Constructed as well as their good performance in Mercenaries, man, they're just unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Still one more chance, though, for trying to take down this Quest Shaman. And what do you put all your faith on? Is it the Aggro Druid in this spot?
I think it's Face Hunter. I genuinely think, I've said this a couple times, I actually think players are just underestimating Face Hunter right now. Like, I don't think it's a fantastic deck at all. I think it's a decent deck that got a bit better with the most recent mini expansion, with Doggy Biscuit coming in. And it's just a deck that can take you by surprise. It can win any matchup because I don't know if it's necessarily a fair comparison, but if we need to think about what Aggro Druid needs to do to win any given matchup, like, they can go about it a couple ways. Like, they can just do the classic powerful thing, play a bunch of minions, your opponent has no removal, they can get a big composting game, they can copy a couple of 5-drops or just get an early arbor up. But that's all kind of difficult to do when your opponent's fighting back. For Face Hunter against Shaman specifically, if you can just get in a couple points of damage, if they don't have a way to clear your 1 and 2 drop, you can very easily get there with just burn over the top. And that is where Shaman, I think, actually starts to struggle. We've seen many games where Shaman has gotten out of that range by generating tidal surges in order to heal back up out of range. But that's not especially likely, and therefore I think going aggressive with the Face Hunter would be my personal pick. And Saimiao agrees, queuing up the most aggressive of decks, the classic Face Hunter here, to try and take down Monsanto on his seemingly unstoppable Quest Shaman.
All right, we'll see if they can get it done. There is only one Canal Slugger in the Quest Shaman from Monsanto and Team Americas, so a little bit less of the healing. But it just seems like Shaman has a ton of additional tools in their arsenal to make up for it, to keep the tempo in the early game. So not even too worried. And just look at him. He's gone now, but remember him.
My heart will go on, TJ.
All right, here we go.
Ooh. That's a lot of buffage.
Yeah. Last game constructed, period. With the Hearthstone Global Invitational.
Saimiao rolling up his sleeves. It's time to think, because this is a very powerful hand to get things going if your opponent doesn't have the answers. Oh, you could even go double if you wanted to here. Just 2 1-drops, as long as one of them sticks. That's a Doggy Biscuit target.
Ooh.
Misses on the Zapper. That's sad, because it could have given him quest completion on this turn.
Yeah, it's kind of rough, actually.
Yeah. These are like the 3 worst ones he could get. Like, he'd take any 2-drop, and he'd also take Novice Zapper, obviously, very happily.
Yeah. I don't even know. I guess it's the mini mage.
Yeah, it's tough to kill. But even then, more realistically, next turn, it's just going to be Bloom Multicaster, or I don't know, maybe the Serpent Shrine Portal. But Monsanto, with a grimace and a shake of the head, this is the one thing he didn't want to see. It's Doggy Biscuit off the top. He does, however, get himself Perpetual Flame off the top. That is the perfect card for him here. Clears the board, gets something
insane
on the board himself. Denies the second Doggy Biscuit. What was looking like an unstoppable start for Sai Meow.
Completes the quest. Perpetual Flame is the 3rd spell. He's now completed Arcane, Fire, and Nature. Multi-caster draws 3 cards next turn, and Timeout draws dead.
He's got to trade, and he needs to hit something here. He's going to start falling behind extremely rapidly.
Yikes. Oh, it's so good. Don't you dare play that mini mage.
You put that back, Monsanto.
You put it back in your head right now.
Oh, again, it's what looked like a rough starting hand. Bad selection on the spell damage. Just with 1 card became the perfect hand. And here, it's not slowing down, is it? He can go Note Taker plus Feral Spirits, another Feral Spirits. The only thing that he is afraid of here is somehow if he leaves himself dead to too many Rhino targets, which is a bit of a conundrum. With a double Rhino in hand, obviously Monsanto only knows about one of them, most likely, because they're probably not picking Volpating, sorry. And they're also being a true aim Crescent. He needs to make sure he's not leaving himself dead to the, like, I don't know, 15 to 18 damage that the Rhinos can do right in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
But it is scary.
Okay.
So,
you ever want to try and tempo a charge call here?
it's at 4 minions right now, which can give you Slogger. But other than that, I'm not interested in going for it quite yet. I think I'd rather play like Note Taker, Feral Spirits, and even just throw down a Novice Zapper as well.
Yeah.
You could maybe keep back the Note Taker to go with Charged Call instead, I suppose.
Oh,
okay.
It's got 1 health. It's got 1 health. The cardinal marker. It buffs it.
I had not even considered that at all, but that is pretty sick. Monsanto?
Oh, he doesn't want to play into the Rhino.
Wow. That's pretty sick. I mean, what was I just talking about? Playing around the Rhino. I thought that meant you go as aggressive as humanly possible to kill them before the Rhino comes down. But Monsanto's taken an entirely different tact here, just going for not playing anything at all. But the benefit now for Sai Meow is he just gets to spend his mana on other stuff, quite happily as well.
I mean, Barracuda Bane can give a good amount of resources, and then Monsanto's going to have to play minions eventually, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely Barracuda Bane here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly toying with the aimed shot because he thinks he might be able to get there with just Rhinos and hero powers alone, which is not absurd at all.
Whoa!
Good lord, that's aggressive.
Yeah. And this is actually becoming a pretty rough spot.
It's true.
Because he knows that the Rhino's there, so he doesn't really want to play like Feral Spirits because then he's taking, what, 8 more damage? Or 4 plus 5. 9 more damage.
This is what I mean as well. Like, Saimiao did 5 damage at the start of this game, right? Before... Or did he deal 8? Like, he dealt like 8 damage, I think, before Monsanto was able to clear. That's enough. 8 damage with minions can win you the game in this matchup, because as long as they don't hit the Canal Slogger, you are simply just going to be able to get there. And maybe that's another reason, again, why Saimiao was just going for not playing any minions, to not give a rush target for that healing. As, again, we're in a situation where Monsanto, he can't just not play minions into Rhino now. As you said, he has to turn up the pressure. And I wonder if this was kind of the inevitability of going for this line where you don't play any minions and only a stealth mini-mage, because eventually you are going to have to commit into something like, play some minions and allow the Rhino to attack.
Yeah.
And now it's just lethal next turn.
Yep. Can Monsanto find it himself, though? Has overloaded mana crystals with +2 spell damage on the board. So that's 6, 9, plus 4, 13. He's a single damage spell?
No way.
Lightning Bolt, that's it!
Oh! That's
it!
lethal! No way!
Well, the Diligent Note-Taker as well would have given him almost enough with just the Overdraft, because it would have done 4 and then 2. But picks up the Lightning Bolt, and Monsanto once again coming in clutch, taking the win. I feel like the Quest Hunter victory there at the beginning from Nagadon was also huge in that series because it gave them that little bit of buffer and took the Quest Shaman out of the equation. But America's 2-0 in the constructed portion of this final.
An incredibly good job. I'm sure they're absolutely ecstatic. Every single one of them. I think they played very, very well. Obviously, you know, the heartbreaking moment was Nayara missing with the Mutinous to not hit the Rakara, but even then I think she was playing some very, very solid Hearthstone. And what you really hate to say, though, what you really hate to see when it all comes down to it, is imagine how different this world would be if Saimiao had seen the lethal in game 1. Missing the nothing can stop us, that's the name of the card, for +1/+1 to be able to get lethal with the Wind Fury meant that he lost to Quest Hunter of all decks, losing the Quest Shaman himself. And from there it was just a slippery slope. You can't stop Monsanto once he's on the Quest Hunter. And maybe their only chance of stopping that was in fact the Quest Shaman Mirror.
Yeah. Very rough indeed, but the biggest thing here is that now pressure is off a little bit for the remainder of the teams here for Americas. Battlegrounds has already shown for the Americas region that they are far and away the best, cleaning up in every single match that they've of Battlegrounds that they've played. Mercenaries obviously have had some struggles, but now looking back, seeing, okay, well, Constructed went 2-0, so if we can, you know, just take one of these Mercenaries series, we're setting the Battlegrounds team up for a huge amount of success.
And what this now means is that no matter what, if Battlegrounds win, if Americas win Battlegrounds, Americas win the tournament. If nothing else at this point, because the best that China can do is get up to 2-2 in Mercenaries. Obviously, Frozen and Luna could 2-0 in Mercenaries, which would then just instantly win Americas the tournament before the Battleground squad even need to do anything. But just what a performance from Monsanto. He can hold his head incredibly high. What a glow up this has been from just 2-3 hours ago. accidentally typing Warrior instead of Warlock in the ban phase and therefore banning the wrong deck before the admins graciously allowed him to correct his what was an obvious mistake, to now all of a sudden going 3-0 Demon Hunter, 2-0 Shaman, single-handedly, it seems like, carrying the squad to a victory. And there you have it, China in a very, very precarious position now, needing to get a win in the Battlegrounds at the end of the day, if nothing else.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a similar picture to everything that we've been seeing so far. It's like, all right, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Quest Shaman comes in, boom. Quest Shaman wins the series. So that was actually a really cool couple of series, because obviously China tried something risky in that first match, and not banning the Demon Hunter, trying to get an edge by taking out the Quest Shaman instead, which has obviously showed to be, one of the most powerful decks, if not the most powerful deck.
Yes.
And it didn't pay off for him, but I think that it was a cool strategy regardless, because otherwise, we would have been seeing the same thing. And if every team is trying to do the same thing and not trying to gain an edge the entire tournament long, and not winning, then you got to try something different. So I respect it. I respect the attempt from China there to try and go against the grain.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm always happy to see something new from our competitors. And, it almost worked out. They just needed one win against the Demon Hunter and it would have worked. Reverting back to what I think was the correct strategy, again, almost worked out for them. But, hate to say it, Miss Lethal costing the series, or costing the game, and very possibly the series, for Sai Miao and LGD. They had to pull extra weight because Xiao Wang was unfortunately unable to participate in the finals despite a very strong performance from him in the round robin. But the upshot of it is they're all done. It's just on the Merc squad and the Battlegrounds team at the end of the day to decide everything in the grand finals here of the Hearthstone Global Invitation.
That's right. And with that, Derek and I are done. Now that Constructed is done. It's been a heck of a weekend for us, but I'm excited to sit back now and watch the conclusion, watch some Mercenaries, watch some Battlegrounds, or sleep, one of the two. I'll flip a coin, it's 50-50. But we are going to have to go to a break before we get into our Mercenaries portion of the event. It shouldn't be very long. I know the players are geared up and ready to go. So don't go anywhere. The finals continue here at the Hearthstone Global Invitational right after this.